is your type? Why? Cause I don't have a 9 to 5. Alright, I get that your standards high, but I'm not a random guy, I'm different. Literally, just
Playing games, I don't really want either. Heart so cold from keeping it real. Cause you need me, I don't need her.
baby, I just wanna fuck, I'm sorry, I don't wanna meet your parents. They think
delete the whole flat Drea. Delete the number and stay up. You can't be falling in LOVE. Or whatever you lot call it. Real talk, it can never be me. It can never be me.
Okay, so today I'm actually doing, it's not a review on music, but I guess it's more, again, an exploration of my favorite topic, which is identity, and it's a deeper explanation of that topic through music. So all the clips that you have just saw, they feature UK rap and grime, but really it's something that represented larger in the culture through different forms of media, whether that's music or film, and it's not particular to this genre of music or to, to UK specifically. This is just a reference point for me. But I think it really illustrates that point, and if I had to do the labeling, which I really hate to do, and I think this is one of the reasons I am doing this video, because I'm trying to deconstruct something which is very easily obscured through labeling and construction of such labeling. But if I really had to narrow it down, I would say is represents a certain archetype of the bad boy, and which has been named and present in the culture throughout time, and depending on the context and the culture, it has been given different names. So if you talk about like 20th century, or end of 20th century Jamaica, it's like a rude boy culture, and there is a more contemporary idea of fuckboy culture, and it's very interesting construction of that through social media. So there is that kind of, you can't really submerge it all into one archetype, but you can see, I'll say, its active forms throughout history and throughout time. But really, I want to dive deeper and not just talk about the social construction of that, which I feel like will come really important, and like the way social context creates it and dictates what form it takes, right? And what the behavior it encompasses. But I really want to talk about the psychological aspect, and I think that last lyrics of the last clip, they kind of just played and repeat there, this could never be me. I feel like that one is really gives us a glimpse of what is hiding behind that badness, that perceived badness, or like if we use the academic term deviance, which is actually amazing term, because there is a lot of body of knowledge on the construction and deconstruction of deviance and how it's related to social context. Specifically, the process of emerging deviant categories in a given society at a given moment in history has been analyzed from a number of theoretical perspectives. So this one is the one that I really want to highlight, because it shows up across all those videos that I'm talking about, as well as film. So Best and Decays, so one of the authors in the book, she talks about the conflict theorists following the Marxist perspectives have asserted that elites play a significant role in creating new categories of deviance. These theories believe that social control is a mechanism for elites maintaining their position in and control over a society. Sociologists using the Durkheim perspective contend that the deviance is necessary for society because it reinforces the social solidarity of its members. Punishing those who break the rules affirms the importance of social ties that bind society together. But again, I want to talk about and look into, I guess, the pain of the villain. The pain of the villain that we also see in the film, and one interesting example that comes to mind is the movie Joker, with a backstory revealed much later, than Batman movies, but we really get to see into that pain of the villain, and it really strikes a chord with the famous quote, hurt people hurt people. And that is just one example. We have so many other examples through film, which really across the genre we see kind of the same story of the villain, and then a lot of times movies give us, whether it's in the same movie itself or whether it's like a movie that happens like later as a backstory, it reveals to us a certain pain and what's hiding behind that mask of certain detachment, sometimes cruelty, the overall badness. But what's really interesting is when the artists themselves, like in the music, where it's not always a conscious effort to communicate something from your psyche, but as a byproduct of that through expressing yourself through art, is how sometimes artists give us very intentional but also unintentional clues into their pain, into their psyche, into their stories, even though they're still doing it within the boundaries and within that identity of badness. And when I say that, it's not like they're it's not done in a separate way where it's like an interview where they break down and start crying, for instance. It's still done within the boundary of their art. It's still done within the same, even sometimes literally the same rap song and all the other signifiers of, their identity in there. And then there is almost that interjection into their inner world, and interjection that allows us to understand them on a deeper level.
When I was 14, YJ was 10 and a man of the house. We go from baby straight to men. Get some money, relive your childhood. Shorty, think I'm childish.
Pretend he just stayed outside all day and played with his friends. Pretend he even had a friend to say was his friend. And it wasn't time to move and schools weren't changing again. He wasn't socially awkward and just strange as a kid. He had a father and his mother wasn't crazy as shit.
You see our gold chains on our flashy cars. I see a lack of self-worth and I see battle scars. He has to be with 20 man when he wears jewellery, and you see it as gangster, I see it as insecurity. Where I'm from, everybody wants to make it out, but nobody wants to see somebody make it.
But really why I wanted to talk about this topic, it's a question, what does it mean to identify with that identity? Whether you consciously see that identity through music and film, whether you consciously construct it yourself based on your pain, or whether it's just an unconscious signifiers that you collect from your environment and culture and take on with the assumption that, well, this is just something that I like, and never really exploring and asking yourself, but why do I like that? Why am I attracted to such things? And not so much to say what does it mean about me, but rather to uncover, to use that as a way to look deeper into yourself, to use it as a way for self-reflection, and sometimes uncover the pain that is hiding behind, because oftentimes I feel like the road to self-discovery, the road to healing is perceived to be as this linear way, and sometimes it's through therapy that you can really get to know yourself. And I'm such a big supporter of therapy. It helped me so much, but I feel like a lot of self-exploration can happen through just learning about yourself and asking yourself those questions. And I feel like it's a big part of the self-exploration, actually, and it's a big part of undoing a certain identity and really stepping into your authenticity. And while I say that, I also realize that my love for UK rap music and grime, I don't think it will ever cease to be. I think at this point it's so ingrained into me, and it's not just because of the lyrics or people who represent it. I think there is a deeper connection to it through my time living there, and so on and so on. So it's not necessarily that we need to look at certain things and like identify ourselves from them, or like, you know, to remove them from our life necessarily, but it's more so to realize what is the character that we are playing out or taking on ourselves using different cultural signifiers, and whether we actually want to live out that character.
I just feel like I never, like, actively chose this. Like, I feel like I'm just on autopilot. You know how you are always talking about, like, the life story? Mm-hmm. I was thinking about it, and I feel like I'm not the main character in my own life story.